Y'all know what it is, man. Yeah. It's time to really let them know, you know, I've been coming for real. Coming for real. Yeah.
Hey, you know I'm reppin' purple, gold, flick, pose, another touchdown party in the end zone. Reppin' purple, gold, flick, pose, another touchdown party in the end zone. You know, yeah, you know, yeah, you know, yeah. Don't try to act like you don't, yeah. Hey, you know I'm on the hill, cause it's real. I done did it from the booth to the field, man, for real. I'm turned all the way up to the ceiling, how I'm feeling. We ain't gotta talk about it, man, we live it. Let them know that we the sickest purple, baby. From my head to my arms, Martin Storm coming beat, sound like a bomb. No need for no alarm. Porters all in the farm, go ask and they know it's here from Louisiana to Dallas, H-Town to Cali. Can't forget about the silk, my doggone it hit. I gotta do it for 6, or should I say landlord? Back to the band, boy. I know it's gonna turn them up, sing along with the fans, boy. Yelling, watch this. No, they can't stop this on every top list. Homecoming poppin', yeah, we cannot miss. It ain't no question, I'm a Panther. Set the boy every time that we do it, they do it. Now I'm reppin' purple, gold, flick, pose. Another touchdown party in the end zone. Reppin' purple, gold, flick, pose. Another touchdown party in the end zone. You know, yeah, you know, yeah, you know, yeah. Don't try to act like you don't, yeah.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Lionel, class of 2009, back with another episode of PV versus everybody. And listen, y'all might want to get strapped in, because this is a public service announcement, not just for PV Nation, but for all the everybody's. All right, for all the everybody's. Now, again, right, you already know what it is. Listen, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. All right, man, show some love. Go ahead and like the video, man. Listen, leave your comments. Let me know. You let me know if I'm tripping, right? But like my man G say, I got something to say. So let me talk, all right? Let me talk for a second so y'all can understand what it really is. All right, you know what I'm saying? That everybody's got a lot to say. I'll let everybody. We about to talk about all the everybody's. All right, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate Peasy for showing up. You know what I'm saying? But before we get into it, I got a quote. All right, I got a quote. I just want y'all to understand. Let me know if I'm tripping. But I heard this quote. It said, "Never let another man define success for you. If you do, he will have you hitting ceilings where flying is possible." I'm gonna say that one more. I'm gonna say it one more time. Let me talk. Let me talk for a second. I just got this quote. It says, "Never, meaning don't even let it cross your mind, right? That you will let somebody else define what your success should be. Don't even do that, right? Because if you do that, they will have you hitting ceilings where flying is what I'm trying to say. See, if the Wright brothers would have let people define success for them as creating another car company, they wouldn't have been the ones who started flight. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? If they allowed somebody to make success for them as starting another Ford or starting another Cadillac, they would have never been in the flight business, because their success was not defined by them. It was actually defined by somebody else. Now, by the way, this quote is mine. All right. By the way, I'm the one who created this quote. All right. It's from me. Don't let nobody else define success for you. And right now, since Black Sunday, we're gonna call it, right? Since Black Sunday, right? Oh man, I've been hearing a lot of everybody's defining success for PV. Oh yes, this is what I've been hearing. I've been hearing that everybody's define what success is supposed to be for PV. Now, I want you to tune your ears, because what you're about to hear, what you're about to realize is that that's the reality that's going all around. Now, I'm gonna jump it off with these two individuals, Mr. Ralph Cooper and Mr. Terrence Harris. Listen, first and foremost, in one of the biggest head-scratching moments ever, PVAD has announced that Coach Bubba McDowell, his contract will not be renewed. He had a disappointing season after coming off 2 SWAC West. Now, first of all, let's get something straight, right? I don't care how you frame it. I don't care how you dress it up. If you are tied with someone else and they win the tiebreaker, you didn't win the SWAC West. And as a matter of fact, if we're losing this, if we're using this barometer, the truth is Prairie View has won the SWAC West many years then. But we know that's not how that works. If you lose the tiebreaker, excuse me, my friend, you do not win the championship. That's not how that works, okay? So, no, 1 SWAC West title, all right? With a chance to win the SWAC West, by the way, but lost to Valley, right? And this is not listen, we appreciate all that Coach Bubba has done, but we're talking about the everybody's today, right? Mr. Ralph Cooper, yesterday, a whole show. I mean, he's so mad, he wants the AD gone. And I'm just trying to understand why everybody in our business. I don't, why are y'all in our business, right? He says PV refused to offer new contract to Coach McDowell, who had 2 winning records in 3 seasons. Well, if you count 6-6 as winning, I guess you can say that's a winning record, but it's not a winning record, right? You got the same amount of wins and the same amount of losses. So we'll say 1 winning record in 3 seasons, but neither here nor there. AD Golf would get a chance to hire a friend, he says, as football boss at PV. Now, it's so funny, the terminology that people start to use when they're not happy with what you're doing and the decisions you made. But listen, it don't matter what you think. It's not about you. We're not going to let you define success for us. Because, see, what is being said without being said is that Prairie View, you should be happy with 17-18 and a SWAC West title. That's what's being said here. That's what you got to understand. That they're saying that is success for you. But you can't let nobody else define success for you. Because if you do, they'll have you hitting ceilings where flying is possible. Now, She Loves D, shouts out to her. She said, what did you expect, basically? Did you expect to beat FAMU or Jackson State? And I told her, like Tony Dungy, you play to win the game. That's what you do. You play to win the game. And if you play any game and you don't expect to win, my friend, listen, why are you playing? Why are you playing? Why? Listen, of course I expect to win. See, that's why these shirts will never die. Let me tell you, listen. That's why the shirt's not going nowhere. Because the shirt is a direct representation that the expectation is the expectation. And I expect to, of course I expect to win. Why am I even playing if I don't expect to win? That don't even make sense. That makes no sense. And McNair definitely has an axe to grind with rival Texas Southern after last year hiring for Haskell. Now, I don't understand what people's thought process is right now. I don't understand what people's thought process is. Why in the world does Prairie View, listen, y'all got to understand what people be talking about because it don't make no sense. Why does Prairie View care about anything about the border regions of Texas Southern and Fred McNair? Please help me understand. We want to sign McNair to bring him here because of something that happened at Texas Southern. Something is wrong with y'all. Y'all not making no sense. Y'all not making any sense. But I'm going to add another one to you, right? Because the everybody's are everywhere, all right? The everybody's are everywhere. But we going to help you understand that you can't let nobody else define success for you. So I want you to check this out.
It didn't get mentioned, and I guarantee you he shoots to the top of the list once this season is over. Fred McNair. I guarantee you, like, I'm willing to put, well, I'm not going to put my salary on the line because I kind of have to, eat and live, but I'll bet you $1 to a donut that at some point Prairie View is going to reach out to Fred McNair, because what better way to show Texas Southern that you mean business than to go and get the guy that their board of regents failed to get or didn't want.
We don't care about Texas Southern. Listen, Texas Southern here, Prairie View here. Okay, watch my hands. Texas Southern here, Prairie View here. We're not the same. We're not in the same ballpark. Nothing we do, no move we make has anything to do, has no thoughts about anything with Texas Southern. We're not hiring McNair because of an axe he trying to grind with. What they got to do with us? That man can get hired at Southern then. He can stay the tight end coach. He can go to Alabama A&M. He can go somewhere else. They ain't got nothing to do with us. Because Texas Southern, we're there. We're not in the same ballpark. And to help you to understand, I want you can hear it from the horse's mouth. Because apparently you're not gonna just listen to me. So I'm gonna play this for you so you can understand where we coming from. Let me get this up for you. Because you can't let nobody else define success for you. That's the end all be all of this presentation. Now, I'm gonna let you hear what 80 Golf has to say about Texas Southern. I'm not
recruiting aspect that you were speaking of when you talk about that triangle, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas. Now, the reality of it is this: Texas, of course, is a huge state, extremely huge state, and unfortunately, the Prairie Views, the Texas Southerns, are at the bottom of the wish list when it comes to Texas talent in particular, with so many options that they have. Guys that are, let's go and say, worth their weight. They're looking at the ACUs, Prairie Views, and the Texas Southerns as an absolute, okay, this is a Hail Mary, I'll try it and see what happens. So
let me stop you there. We're not going to compare ourselves.
What the man say? What y'all repeat? Y'all put in the comments what the man said. You let me know what he said. You let me know what he said. He said, first of all, he said, let me stop you there, because we're not even about to go down that road. We are not comparing ourselves to Texas Southern. That ain't even in the thought process. Y'all tripping. See, the problem is y'all don't understand what the aim is. Listen, this is why the shirts will never die. Because y'all don't understand what the aim is. Y'all are tripping. Y'all mindset is gone. Y'all think the goal is a Swag West championship? You think the goal is 17 and 18 in 3 seasons? Well, listen, that ain't my problem anyway. All I'm letting you know is that ain't our goal. That ain't what success is for us. Period, point blank. Let me stop you with the foolishness, right? let me stop you with the foolishness right now. We're not going to compare ourselves to Texas Southern. It's just not going to happen, right? As my man Rich say, we're measuring ourselves against the top programs in the FCS, not TSU. Listen, no disrespect to my man G. We're not comparing ourselves to Alcorn. We're not comparing ourselves to Jackson. We're not comparing ourselves to Alabama A&M, to Alabama State, to Bethune-Cookman. Listen, we're looking at the top 25 in the FCS, and we're saying that's the comparison. That's success. That's the goal. Now, if you fit in that narrative, then there we go, right? So maybe Jackson or FAM or Central, South Carolina State, because that's where they are. They're in the top 25 FCS. That's the comparison. Anybody below that ain't listen. That's not what the comparison is. My boy, you got it wrong. You misunderstand. The goal is top in the FCS, right? And I say, listen, if Grambling or Southern or FAM or Jackson made the move that Prairie just made, the everybody's, they not talking like this. I'm gonna let you know. The everybody's ain't talking like this if FAM makes this move. The everybody's ain't talking like this if Jackson make this move. Everybody ain't talking like that if Graham or Southern make that move. Because, see, they look at them in a certain way. But what I'm trying to tell you is it don't matter how they look at you. You got to move how you move based on what your goals are. Based on what your goals are. And nobody can define that for you except you yourself. Because let me tell you, Ralph Cooper ain't nothing changing for him if PV finished fourth for the next 4 years in a row. It don't matter to him. You think Terrence Harris really about to be upset if PV over the next 3 years is fourth on the SWAC list? You think he care about that? No. That's why you can't let other people define success for you. Because look, this right here is where you put your mind and your eyes to, right? SWAC championships over the course of time, PV with 11. And we're saying that number needs to stack higher than that. That's what you put your focus on because you're saying that's the goal. That which we have done in the past needs to be a present reality, right? This 6 Black college national championships, that needs to extend higher. That's what the mind is on. That not what we've done in the past, but that needs to be in the present. Because that's the goal. And no matter what anybody else say to you, you can't let other people define what your goal is because they will keep you in mediocrity because they really don't care about your success. You think that other people care about how successful you are? They don't care about that. That's why they can't define it for you. That's why they can't define your success for you. And what is, listen, PV parts ways with successful. I want you to notice the words, right? Successful football coach Bubba McDowell. And listen, this is not a shot at Coach Bubba McDowell, right? This is a shot at the everybody's who think they can define success for you. How has he been successful based on what your goals are, based on where you're trying to go? How is he successful? That's the question. That's the question, right? Goff says, listen, for us, it was about looking at where the program was to where we are trying to go. And now you ask, well, where are you trying to go? We're going to get there. Where are you trying to go? He was at the end of his contract, so we had a decision to make. Were we going to renew it or were we going to move in a different direction? At the end of the day, we decided to go in a different direction. Because they love the guy, love the job he did here, but we're at the point we need to go in a different direction and have a different voice and create a different culture. Because that culture is based on where we're trying to go, right? We are looking for somebody who obviously is a good football mind, a great leader, communicator, someone who can come in and make sure our players are disciplined. The SWAC West isn't our goal. Somebody put that in the comments real quick, because maybe people can't hear me, but they could read it if you put it in the comments. The SWAC West isn't our goal. So now I ask you, everybody, have we been successful in the last 3 years? Because if the SWAC West isn't the goal, then you aren't successful. That's pretty simple. It's pretty simple and straightforward. I mean, it's pretty simple. It is very shady. It is very shady. Because at the end of the day, listen, them boys don't find success for you. You got to find success for your own program based on what you're trying to do, based on what your goals are. And the SWAC West isn't our goal. What else does he say? It's the SWAC title. By the way, it doesn't say it's the SWAC title game. Just because, sometimes y'all be acting like y'all can't comprehend, even though y'all HBCU graduates. It's the SWAC title. Is getting to the FCS playoffs. If for some reason we aren't in the SWAC title game, if for some reason we don't get there, then we definitely need to be in the FCS playoffs. That's the goal. That's so y'all can understand. See, you're trying to understand and ascertain what's the desire, what's the goal. That's the goal. It's not the SWAC West. It's not the SWAC West. Oh, yeah. That is the reality, Cody. Yes, now you're finally starting to understand. I'm happy. Now, turn around and help the other people to understand in the class. Because it's not the goal. The goal is, let me let AD let you know what the goal is.
This alone, this is going to be a family effort, right? It's going to take all of Panther Nation to get us to where we want to be. Because we deserve to be at the top. We're going to be a model FCS program, not just in the SWAC, but nationally. And that's a promise I'm going to make to you. But like I said, we're going to do this together.
Let me run it back one more time, because maybe you misunderstood what he said.
I'm not going to do this alone. This is going to be a family effort, right? It's going to take all of Panther Nation to get us to where we want to be, because we deserve to be at the top. We're going to be a model FCS program, not just in the SWAC, but nationally. And that's a promise I'm going to make to you. But like I said, we're going to do this together.
Just so y'all can understand. So anytime you hear that everybody's saying anything that don't sound like that, you already understand. They're not trekking with us. The goal is to be a model FCS program, win the SWAC, right? Compete for FCS top 25, FCS player. That's the goal. There is no other goal. There is no other undercurrent. There's no other standard, right? And so that's why when you start to hear things like I'm about to show you, you understand that people they don't understand what the real goal is, right?
Yeah, I think they just don't think the future is that bright. Overall, I didn't see it coming. Like I said, outside looking in, you look at the last 2 years prior to this year, and this year is bad. Don't get me twisted. This year is bad. But if you go beyond this year and you look at the other 2 seasons that Bubba McDowell has been around, they've been pretty successful years. Most people would take that. To me, in the West,
They've been pretty successful years. By the way, when somebody says they're pretty successful, it means they're not successful. Let's be clear. Okay. Let's just understand, right? Shouts out to Dorian Gray, by the way, right? So it ain't no shot at him or anything, but I'm just telling you, see, listen, it's a TSU guy. He don't understand what the goal is. Because pretty successful equals not successful. I'm just making it clear, right? And what he said, I think anybody would take that. Any of y'all can take that. That's not the goal here. That's not the standard here. Right? Listen.
I don't think anybody has been better, period, in the SWAC. But I don't think anybody has been better than Jackson State and FAMU over the last couple of years, right? That's just been the top dogs. So when you're looking at that, not being able to compete with the East, I don't think is that big of a slight to him.
Are y'all hearing now? Do y'all understand now? You don't think it's a slight not being able to compete with the top teams in the East. Hey, by the way, the top team in the East the last couple of years has been the top team in the SWAC. Well, my question is, PV Nation, what's the goal? Is it the SWAC West? It's not the SWAC West. So now if you can't compete with the top teams in the East, then you ain't meeting the standard, because that's the goal. The goal is to win a SWAC title. So if you can't compete with them teams, it is a slight to you. That's just the reality. That's just the facts. Because that's where we headed. That's what the goal is. And I always tell people, I love this statement, by the way. One of the books I read before, right? It says, essentially, right, I'm paraphrasing, you will never reach a goal you don't aim for. It don't make sense. That's not how stuff happens in life. You're never going to reach a goal you don't aim for. You ain't going to trip up and make $2 million this year in your business. That don't happen. You got to set goals, set a plan, put things in order, and start the process. So if PV expects to be a model FCS program, they never going to reach that without setting that goal and putting that as the standard of where we're trying to go. And everything else falls in line, because the reality is then you're not just going to be looking for any coach at that point. You're looking for somebody who can help you reach that standard. So just understand, when he's saying this, he understands that, listen, he not thinking of what our goals. So he can't define success for us, right? He can't define success for us then. Look at my man here.
Oh, and if you win 2 SWAC West championships and get fired, I don't know where this game is going. It's unprofessional. Get let go after winning 2. No matter if you're a Cole or you won it outright, it still is a win. So I don't know where this profession is going. I'm just happy this morning. I woke up and my key still works.
First of all, Chris Dishman, mind your business, okay? Like that just to be clear, okay? Like, you downtown, all right? All right? Let us mind ours, you mind yours, okay? Because like you say, you happy your key still working. Them people going to take your key from you in a couple of years if you don't mind your business, okay? All right? Just saying, right? But again, he doesn't think that if you win, he said 2, but of course I keep saying it's 1. I don't know where this 2 thing keep coming in, right? It's 1, right? But he's saying that you shouldn't get fired if you win 2 SWAC West Division titles. What are we talking about? It's not a championship. I'm sorry. If it was 2 SWAC titles, now we got a different conversation. A whole different conversation, right? But again, Chris Dishman, he can't define success for you. He can't define success for you because he thinks 2 SWAC titles that's good enough. No, sorry, sir. That's not how it works here. All right. That's not how it works here. Listen.
I really don't know what these athletic directors and board of regents and stakeholders, oh God, that word. I don't know. Basically, I don't know what these people expect 3 years in. And yes, Coach McDowell has been there as an assistant for a decade, but this was only the 3rd year he had a chance to put his stamp on the program. And the last 2 years, the first 2 years were pretty doggone successful. You get a share of the SWAC West in 2022. You win the whole thing in 2023. You get to the SWAC championship game. I mean, nobody was beating Florida A&M last year. I mean, let's just be honest about it. That Florida A&M team is probably going to go down. It's probably one of the top 10 in the history of that program. So, but what else do you want? I mean, this is a team that, this is the same Prairie View A&M that lost every game for a decade. That's not.
Listen, in 2024, anytime, this is for all PV Nation. In 2024, anytime anybody having a conversation with you about football today and they bring up 80-game losing streak, you already know to tune them out. You already know to tune them out because they not about to make any sense. Because what we talking about? We talking about 80-game losing streak in 2024, bro. What we talking about? And to add on top of that, bro, you from Delaware State. You can't talk to me about football at all, period. What we talking about? You obviously don't know what a successful program looks like. So we can't have no conversation because you definitely can't help us hit no goal we got. Period. Point blank. I'm just saying. I mean, listen, I'm just saying. How you gonna help us? You need to help your own alma mater. You feel me? How about you? How about you help your school to find the right coach? How about that? How about you worry about that? Because you talking to us about success, you don't know what that looks like. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's the continue.
And that's not a misprint either. That's not me joking. That's not me being shady. That is a fact. You can look it up. Prairie View A&M went 0 for most of the 1980s and part of the 1990s.
0-80 actually.
0-80. Yeah. There were 3 presidents during the Prairie View A&M losing streak. The last days of Ronald Reagan, George Bush Sr.'s entire presidency, Bill Clinton's first term. 3 presidents. So it's not like Prairie View A&M has like this long storied regal tradition like of a Jackson State or an Alcorn State or a Florida A&M or whatever. You're Prairie View. What do you want?
We want championships. We keep saying it over and over again. I'm just trying to understand if you understand. So listen, you can't listen to nobody. First of all, like I said, he's from Delaware State, so I don't even know why he talking about anything anyway, right? That's first of all. Second of all, right? We want championships. Let's be clear. What do you want? But you see how they define success for you? They define success for you. It's like, why are you not happy with the Swag West, right? Listen, these people, everybody's are like those friends that keep holding you back from being great. That's what I liken them to. It's Thanksgiving tomorrow, right? Some of y'all are saying, listen, tomorrow, even though it's Thanksgiving, I'm not about to go crazy because I got goals for what I want, for my health, for what I want for my body, for what I want for my energy. So I got a plan in place of how I'm about to attack tomorrow, right? To still enjoy myself, but still keep my goals at the forefront. And some of these everybody's are like those family members and those friends in your life who are just like, why are you taking your health so seriously? You've never taken your health seriously before. Or why are you trying to change your eating habits, right? Man, you were the one who was going crazy at the parties. Man, you were the one who was drinking more than all of them. This is the everybody's right now, right? I want you to understand, this is exactly what they're doing to you and your program. You aren't Jackson State. You aren't Grambling. You aren't Tennessee State. Who cares? They don't set our goals for us. They don't set our plans for us. They don't determine success for us. We do. We do. I'm just so you understand, right? I'm just saying, right? We set our success for us, right? So let me get to another one in here. Listen.
My point in bringing that up is South Carolina State has a culture set. And it's because they've given their coaches time to build and to set what the standard is for your team. Jackson State was great for a long time because they had a culture set. Tennessee State was great because they had a culture set. Grambling State was a historic program because they had a culture set. Prairie View has no culture. There's nothing that we know them for when it comes to football. They've had success in the past couple of seasons. They won the SWAC West Division twice in the past, 4 years? So it's like we get it. You've had your success, but you haven't had any stability that has led to long-term success. And that's what a lot of these schools don't have. They don't have stability because everything is a microwave society. Once the time is up, you're ready to move on. What a lot of these teams that have had long-term success has done, once that microwave is done, they ready to continue it. It's continuous. It doesn't stop for them. Prairie View A&M, once they see something stop working, they're just ready to move on from it, rather than look at what the mistakes were and learn from it and retool, come back. And I'm not even saying that Bubba McDowell is the right guy for the job, but 3 years is not enough time. Everybody is not Chennis Berry. Everybody is not all these coaches that have had success in the first or second year that they have been there. Guys have had time. Everybody is not Coach Prime. It's not going to be like that with every coach that you bring in. And even Chris Dishman, as great of a job as he's had, there's no guarantee that Texas Southern is going to be better from what they were this season. Hopefully they give him enough time to continue to build off of what he did this year, but it's no guarantee that it's going to be like that. Like, you have to give these guys time. Now, if you see some things that you don't like, that, you don't think are sustainable, that's up to you to make that decision.
And we did. Listen, I'll admit, that type of stuff hurt my head, right? When we had this big, long conversation, you talked for like 10 minutes, but then at the end, you say the exact opposite thing of what you was just arguing with me about the whole 10 minutes. We did. We didn't like what we saw, and we moved on. And this same person saying, I don't even know, I'm not even saying Coach Bubba McDowell the right person. So why are you even talking to us then? Please help me explain. Please tell me then. Since you don't know if he's the right person, then again, mind your business. That's all I'm saying. Listen, we gonna mind ours, you mind yours. All right? Because our success is not defined by what you say. 2 SWAC West titles, which is incorrect. I don't know why y'all keep saying that, right? 1 SWAC West title, right? But the SWAC, listen, you guys remember, if you guys been following the channel, I did a whole show after last year when we beat Alabama State. Did a whole show where I said, you know what? You got to celebrate, then accelerate. I know some of y'all remember this show. And I told y'all in the middle of that show, the SWAC West is not a championship. So this ain't new. This ain't no new conversation. This is an old conversation, actually. It's not a championship. It has never been a championship. I don't care what kind of trophy the SWAC makes for you. It ain't a championship. That ain't the goal. The title, the Celebration Bowl, top 25, FCS player. Listen, those are the goals. And if you can't meet those expectations, do not apply here. Period. If you can't meet those expectations, don't apply, my guy, because that's what the goal is. So you got to understand what you're walking into. So again, that gives you a framework for even what the type of coaches that can even come in here, because we are aiming for that. Oh, you think we're aiming to not compete with the SWAC East? What kind of sense would that make? That is like the dumbest thing to me. Like, why in the world would we want to not compete with the East if the goal is to win the SWAC championship? But see, that's because they don't understand what your goal is, right? Let's Scoop, this is a business. And like Scoop say, what are you even talking about? Let's just look at the history. I already pulled it up, right? And listen, with all of these seasons of PV not doing anything, yet 11 SWAC championships. 11 SWAC championships. Even with all that history that you talk about of losing when we had no scholarships, right? And all this history, yet we still got 6 HBCU national championships. We have a winning tradition. We have a winning past and a winning culture, right? And we're getting back to that culture. Like my man said earlier, we're getting back to them 1960s national championship ways. That's the goal, to go back in that way, right? If you don't perform and reach expectations, bro, you're gone. That's how it works, right? That's how it works, right? Now, last thing, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I think my man...
Well, that's because they control the purse strings. Donations really matter a lot to keep athletic programs and schools afloat. So as much as we kind of rail against stakeholders, they're a pretty important part of the operation at every school in America. But I think maybe that Prairie View decided to move on was because they saw that the SWAC West wasn't as good as it has been in years past, and there was some regression from Prairie View. A lot of it had to do with injuries at quarterback for Prairie View, was kind of through their kind of like offense in flux. But I did happen to notice several times during this season, during the SWAC coaches call, that Bo McDowell kept harping on the fact that, like, well, coaches wasn't putting the right guys in the games, wasn't putting right guys in positions to succeed. And I'm like, you're the head coach. It's your job to do that. Like, why aren't you, like, before the game starting or, like, during the course of the game, like, telling the coach, hey, like, this player needs to be in here. We need to sub this guy out. Because he mentioned before, like, before he made a quarterback change early in the season, he thought about it but didn't do it. I'm like, you're coaching but not a lot of authority. You're like too reactionary. You're not thinking ahead. And so several times he had mentioned that during the season. I asked him, like, okay, like, how does it seem like every week there are players who are not in the position that you want them to be in, or who are not on the field and want them to be in? And he said, well, no, that's just kind of the way it worked out during the course of the game. But during the game, I made adjustments and made sure our assistants, coaches got players in the game, because he mentioned, like, the first couple weeks of the season, like, he literally met with the coaches at halftime and said, like, we're going to play these guys. Why aren't you playing these guys? We're going to play them. I'm like, you the coach. Like, you need to have no means. Just put them in the game yourself. You the ultimate authority. So I think all of that, plus the losing in a division that was weak, kind of made Prairie View decide, like, hey, like, this is run its course. We can do better than Bo McDowell.
Listen, the man hitting the spot on the head, right? And I don't know if y'all seen the article with Terrence Harris, but AD Goff said it. Listen, we're looking for somebody that can bring discipline. We were the worst team in the FCS in penalty yards this year, right? Where's the discipline? And there are games that you'll win, there are games that you will lose. I mean, there are games that you'll lose if you're not disciplined. That's just simple, right? That's just simple. And so the reality is, if this is the goal and you don't think this is the guy that can get you to that goal, no, again, it's not a disrespect to the person, the individual. It doesn't mean you don't have a good relationship with them. It just means, man, they can't take me to that level, to that goal, to what I'm trying to reach there. Hey, man, if you're working with your homeboy, right, and they know how to do some renovation work, that's great. You can work with them when you're trying to flip some houses. But when you start to go down the direction where you want to be a developer, your homeboy may not be the one that can work with you. It just is what it is. But it's based on what your goal is, right? And so before we close out, man, I want y'all to hear a few thoughts from AD, right? So you guys can understand the framework and the thought process, because again, you got to understand where Prairie View is headed, so you understand the moves and why the move. Well, not first of all, why the move is being made. So you think the why not PV is just nothing? Listen, this is the standard. It's the goal. You would, like I keep saying, you're never going to hit a goal you don't aim for. And until you aim to win a SWAC West title, until you expect to go win the Celebration Bowl, you're not going to do it. You're not just going to trip up and it's going to happen. That's not how this works, right? So I'm going to play out a couple clips here. I'm going to get out your head, right?
Anticipating the football program, since that's what we're focusing on right now, to one day crack into the FCS top 25?
Absolutely. That is the vision and the goal of this program. To be, if we're not going to the Celebration Bowl, to be good enough to get an invite to the FCS playoffs.
Okay. Now,
that's the standard.
That's the standard. That if we're not good enough to win the SWAC title, we get into the FCS playoffs. Now, you got to think about how good does this program need to be if that is then the standard. That's just the norm, right? That changes a lot, right? He said in this interview that, hey, that changes how you then choose to play out-of-conference games, which Prairie View has done a great job of playing out-of-conference games against teams that can give them respectable out-of-conference wins, that the FCS playoffs is an option, right? But you have to continue to play games like that, right? Against teams that have some cachet and some caliber to them, right? But you got to bring in somebody who understands that and can take it to that point. I want to play this as well, right? Talking about the reason he decided to move on from Coach McDowell.
Okay, when you have the vision of where you thought the program should be, where you thought it should be in comparison to what you are seeing as the reality, because it sounds like you did a lot of the right things. What is it that's missing, in your opinion, for this program to be where you desire to be, and where do you desire to be?
Yeah. So for me, I believe that I'm not comparing ourselves just in the SWAC. Like for me, we've got to be one of those top 25 programs in all of FCS, right? And that starts with, being in the SWAC and making sure that we are in it, one or two for the West, and then playing for the championship on a regular basis. And when we compete outside of the conference, to be competitive against those that are in the Southland Conference, those that are in, say, Missouri Valley, or those other FCS conferences. And so I want us to be a model, right? I want us to be what people look at like, hey, man, Prairie View football, we're trying to be like that program. And so that's where I'm trying to get us to. And so we're not there yet. When we lose, like, say, last year to a Houston Christian 30-0, or Abilene Christian, or, we struggle against a Northwestern or East Texas A&M, used to be Texas A&M Commerce. I take that into consideration as well as, how we're competing in the SWAC.
So, again, right, he's not just taking into account just SWAC games, right? So, because, again, this not Coach Maynard over here, right? It's not you get paid to win SWAC games. It's no. I want to see how you compete against other FCS teams, against other FCS conferences, and not even just in those games that you lose. But he also mentioned, man, how we struggled with Texas A&M Commerce, how we struggled with Northwestern State, right, which are at the bottom of the Southland Conference. That matters too in the evaluation. Losing to Houston Christian 30-0, not even being competitive in the game that you have the talent to win those games, right? And he also talked about how he didn't believe that the talent was worse than the talent last year. He believed that we got better from a talent standpoint. But again, look at what the year was, right? And so the last thing, just him talking about the needs of the program from what he's looking for in the next head coach. I'm gonna let this rock.
So it's different everywhere. With this particular search, I'm going to do my due diligence. It's a national search, and we're going to go through and we're going to get the best candidate that we feel we can get to lead this program.
Okay, and as far as meeting the expectations that you had, what do you see as needed for that role to be filled at that location?
So a couple characteristics I see. One is obviously somebody who has great football knowledge, right? That goes without saying. But I need a leader. I need somebody who's a great communicator that can be a great campus partner, someone who can communicate with student athletes, can communicate with the community, alumni, corporate sponsors, those type of things. I need somebody who is going to run a program where our student athletes are super disciplined. And I think I need somebody who is going to be able to recruit Texas, in particular, the Houston, Dallas, San Antonio triangle area. I think there's a wealth of talent in that area. That's what we usually call the three-hour radius area of student athletes that you can recruit here to Prairie View A&M University, as well as somebody who's savvy about the transfer portal. And then obviously the other things of being able to figure out this NIL space. So those are some of the characteristics that we're looking for a coach, but then there's going to be some intangible ones, right? Someone who just has a presence, somebody who has great experience, right? And so we're going to find the right person, believe that.
So, and he also went on to say too, because, there was a little pushback on, well, are we going to be able to get the talent, et cetera, et cetera? And he's like, listen, we're going to find a coach that can go sell Prairie View and make student athletes understand that Prairie View is a high caliber program, right? And so, listen, this is what the goal is. You know what I'm saying? This is really what it is, man. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, this is what we headed to. And like I said, just to remind you guys again, because I know some of you got in late, right? Never let another man define success for you. If you do, he will have you hitting ceilings or flying is possible. And the reality now is Prairie View is at a point in their program, athletic program, period, right? And obviously football is the biggest and it starts here. But we're at the point now where no one else is going to define success for us, right? That's why it's why not PV, right? That's why we call our shot. That's why we write big checks. Because at the end of the day, nobody else can determine what is going to be success for us. Nobody else can say, man, you want to SWAC West, that should be good enough. It's not good enough because the goal is SWAC championships, right? And the truth is, somebody out there needs to be hearing this for their own life and experience. And you need to understand that you need to set your own goals for yourself in your life, period. You might be PV Nation. You might be a everybody, right? You might be a grad from another school, and you need to hear this because you don't need to let other people set and define success for you. You need to set and define success for yourself. And then you need to aim for that goal. But make sure whatever goal you set, whatever you're aiming for, listen, make sure it's high enough that you got to become a different person in order to hit that goal. If you ain't got to become something different to reach your goal, then is it really a goal? Is it really something worth the aim in the first place? You need to set something so high that you got to become something different to be that, right? And I think that's the reality of what everybody's is realizing. Because in order for PV to reach this goal that they're setting right now, it almost don't make sense to y'all because you know that PV would have to step into another stratosphere in order to become that. And that's the reality, right? From the head coach standpoint, from the administration standpoint, from a fan base standpoint, all these things have to come together in order for us to elevate to that point. But that's what the goal is. Because if we never set the goal, we're never going to reach it. So with that said, man, listen. With that said, man, we appreciate you all for jumping on, man. You know what I mean? Listen, we got the facilities, we got the academics, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we're seeking to do, man. But man, say trust me, UAPB is synonymous with losing, trying to get better. This is not acceptable. Hey, listen, it's the same for UAPB. You know what I mean? But listen, UAPB got to set their own goals. They got to set their own trajectory. They got to determine what success is for them. They can't let the rest of the SWAC do that because PV, we done with that. The SWAC ain't going to define success for us no more. We're going to define success for ourselves. What's up, Ty? Appreciate you for jumping in, man. So with that being said, man, y'all let the everybody's know they don't know what they talking about. Anytime you read an article, anytime you see a post and you see them talking like something was successful when you know it's less than what the goal is, you can know that they just don't understand. They don't get it, right? So that being said, man, I hope you guys enjoy your Thanksgiving on tomorrow, man. Please let the people that you love, let the people that you care for know that you appreciate them, know that you are grateful for them, know that you are thankful that they are in your life, right? You know what I'm saying? Hit up somebody who may not be in your area, in the area that you're living in right now, man, hit them up, call them and just tell them, man, I appreciate you, I thank you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? You know what I'm saying? Don't just make it all about the food. Make it about actually giving thanks for all that God has done for you and also giving thanks for the people that he's placed in your life. So hopefully you guys have a chance to do that tomorrow, man. And I know those individuals will definitely appreciate it. So with that said, man, we're going to holler and get out here. I'll talk to y'all later.